So let's go ahead and get into today's video because we got some good topics to cover. Follow me over on Decoy Voice. Make sure you subscribe to Decaf Decoy, but you guys are already watching on Decaf Decoy, so I guess that's all that matters. But let's go ahead and get to today's topic, where this was from, I think it's October. So this is them protesting ICE activity in Portland, and this is how bad it got, accomplishing nothing. But I want to point something out to you guys over here. And this is from the Black Conservative Preacher. Nobody's following him over on YouTube, so follow him if you haven't already. And they're all tactical Amazon purchased riot gear. And does this guy literally have on the top of his what looks like a hockey helmet a tongs? Like tongs for like cooking. There. He's running away. But notice how he ran in the front of a literal clown. The literal clowns are out there saying, "Hey, we're gonna stop the ICE operations." He runs away over there, past a Snoopy doll, and also a emotions expert. So, in all these mass protests all across the country for months on end, they've accomplished nothing because they had an emotions expert. Yeah, Oregon's ruined Portland. I mean, Portland ruined Portland. It's pretty bad. The thing is, like, as a true New Yorker, you apologize for these fakes you see in the city. They're not real New Yorkers, but they are now, because the majority of New Yorkers right now aren't American born. So that's the real New York City. Doesn't matter what it was in the 90s. This is the real city right now. Yeah, that is Tactical Timu. I like that. That's funny to me. After months on end of this, and they're getting popped with these pepper ball rounds. So yeah, you had this for months on in. They protest, accomplish nothing, but this is how desperate they're becoming. This is a genuine ad. Who put this out? I guess we'll see in the very end. Anti-ICE ad. This is a real ad. This shows the sheer amount of desperation this side has because they've accomplished so little. He's so ashamed. He's so ashamed that he's providing for his family, that he's getting an insanely high signing bonus, and he's serving the democratically elected leader of the country. Like, this is what Americans wanted. What will you say when she asks you about your day? Oh, him smashing a window. I'm wondering if this is AI footage. I can't imagine they would use real footage for this. Let me just adjust that. I can't imagine that would be real footage. I wonder if this is AI. Adding screaming.
Can't hide you from your neighbors, your children.
Shoving a camera in the face of somebody because father broke the law. Unfortunate that that's what happens when you have a criminal that gets arrested. This wouldn't just be with immigration. This would be any instance where a parent breaks a law and someone gets arrested. But shoving the camera in their face so they can make their ad disgusting.
They'll know. You can walk away before the shame follows you home.
The shame follows you home. Sheer desperation.
Daddy, how's your day?
What will you say? Paid for by Women's March win? What is women's... Wait, what is the... I gotta ask ChatGPT right now. What does the Women's March do? They're a social and political movement that organizes protests, advocacy campaigns, and community actions focused on gender equality and human rights. Yeah, awful propaganda. Oh, is it Women's March win is George Soros? That makes sense then. Progressive activism, influencing public conversations, energizing grassroots participation, and faced internal controversies over leadership inclusivity. So it's one of the most recognizable women's rights advocacy. What were the controversies? Accusations of anti-Semitism in leadership infighting, and lack of inclusivity. Of course, the Women's March will have issues with inclusion. I wonder if it's not including enough male to female individuals. Financial transparency questions. Yeah, where's that money going? Disagreements over stances on Israel-Palestine, because honestly, it would be a thing where you gotta wonder, if it's the Women's March and it's about women's rights, would they be on the side of a country or a religion that forces them to, at the very least, cover their hair, but at the most, cover everything but their eyes, say they can't go to school, they can't read, they can't be in public unaccompanied by men? Like, there's a lot of rules that would be in direct conflict with what the Women's March should be. So the left always eventually eats itself, and here we go again. Fragmentation. Okay, I mean, there's a whole bunch of trans inclusivity debates, like the Women's March. Yeah, they've gone off the rails with this. I think it's kind of funny. This ad is beyond evil. It's beyond pathetic. It's beyond desperate to do this. Like this. The thing is, you have all these people crying, and it's sad. There are not tragedies. There are criticisms to what's happening with the arrests. Okay, I could buy that, but also I don't think that you've seen the conservatives, whenever you have something like an illegal immigrant murders or an innocent American citizen, I don't think I've seen an advertisement. You can correct me if I'm wrong. I don't think I've seen an advertisement that shoved the camera in the faces of the families, D4K, crying, saying, you know, when you refuse to turn over a known criminal that's already in jail to DHS, you're causing this. Like, I don't think I've seen that, even though it's actually the reality. I think it's kind of classless to say, hey, this person's feeling a very, very big emotion this is the worst moment in their life. Let's use this, you know, like standing on the graves of people to push this thing. I think it's classless. But now you're seeing this come back from the actual official Department of Homeland Security account showing this.
Are you an illegal alien in the United States? Are you looking for the perfect holiday gift for your family? Then DHS has the best holiday deal of your life. It's the CBP Home app.
I know this is going to make them lose their mind. But yes, CBP Home app, it's a great thing. I think they get, a $1,000 exit bonus. They're given time to coordinate their departure, get their, all their affairs in order. And also they don't get arrested in the street. They also don't cause some riot where a U.S. citizen is at I believe it was the pot farm over in Camarillo, and falls to their death while they're trying to evade the ICE agents. Like, this solves a lot of those issues, but it's going to make them lose their mind because, they have no chill at all.
It's free. It's fast. Just download the CBP Home app and fill out your information. We'll take care of your travel arrangements, and once you're home, you'll receive a $1,000 stipend.
I don't like this. I don't like it by the concept of saying, hey, you broke the rules, we're going to reward you, but apparently that $1,000 is pennies compared to how much it would cost to actually find and arrest them, send them back, and also go through the necessary channels legally to do it. So yeah, it's savings to us, but still don't like the fact that we have to reward them. So yeah, thank you for the super chat. I'll read all the super chats at the end of the show.
So don't delay. Join the 2 million illegal aliens who have already left.
2 million.
Download the CBP Home app today.
Yeah, and the thing is, here you go. Despite all these massive protests, the literal clowns, and the emotions experts that popped up outside the Portland federal building, and all the crying faces they did, 2 million. Trump is winning. Americans are liking it. His approval rating is out the roof, and Americans are sick of this.
And get home for the holidays.
I'll say it's funny. Maybe a little bit antagonizing. I don't know if that's where we want to be, but I think a lot of people are very happy with the way the president is operating, because what a lot of people didn't know, and what a lot of people are super upset over, is the idea that the SNAP benefit fiasco, when the government shut down and the Democrats kept on shutting the government down, a lot of Americans rely on SNAP benefits, but it kind of opened their eyes to the Democrat lies. To Democrats wanted to make sure undocumented people still had access to the SNAP benefits. And when the Republicans say we're not going to sign that part of the bill to keep the government open, all Americans are going to suffer because the Democrats insisted on them being included on our government spending. Now, the crazy part about this is, if on Google, this is actually a real thing, you can search the same thing. I say, or search, Trump cuts SNAP benefits to the undocumented. The AI overview answer, this is the official answer, it's citing something from November 12th, saying undocumented immigrants have never, in bold, never been eligible for the federal supplemental nutrition assistance program or food stamps. Therefore, Trump has not cut benefits for this specific group as they were already excluded from the program. So if you go to Google, they're going to lie to your face and say they never received these benefits. But here we are in Congress saying, hey, look, did you know that 20% of them were on it?
So this is the chart of the SNAP program. Now, I know everyone can't see this, but this goes back to October of 2023. And I want everyone to follow. This is the red line that under Joe Biden, you see an almost 30% increase in the cost of the SNAP program over the...
And mind you, food stamps when I was a kid, some people need to be on it. Yeah, you go on hard times, get some supplemental nutrition assistance. Like, there's a social safety net for a reason. You get on it, but it was a point of shame. It was a point of, I got laid off at the factory, I'm trying to get back on my feet. Nothing wrong with that. But the idea that it became this thing where it's just like they just use it as socialism to be able to give everybody something no matter what, if they're a citizen or they're not, or if they're able to work or not, they just get stacks of cash because the Democrats want to sneak in socialism behind the scenes.
4 years that President Biden and the USDA was overseeing it with Congress funding it. And you see now the downward trend since President Trump was reelected November. I say that because the astronomical costs of the SNAP program under Joe Biden was historical. It was unprecedented, and we don't have the same levels of funding that were there in the past.
Yeah, we don't have the money. The country's in a deficit. We're bankrupt. I think our interest payments on our debt is more than the debt than any other cost on it. We're gonna see hyperinflation in the near future unless we fix this. I think we cut all benefits whatsoever.
Interesting. You said some of the silver lining is we're getting to look a little bit behind the SNAP program. So we know that 20% of illegals are on SNAP and that 59% of households headed by illegals use SNAP or some other.
More than half of them receive these benefits. And mind you, search on Google and it says that they've never been eligible. That's the lie. Like, I have somebody that I know that is very, very liberal, starting to open their eyes because they're starting their own family. And they're starting to realize, like, oh my God, like, why do these people get these other benefits that I don't get? Like, they're on hard times, so I believe they receive some sort of some form of government assistance, or actually they don't because the husband makes the bare minimum. But the idea that they don't receive all these benefits, and yet you're having people that aren't even supposed to be receiving it, but they're still under the misunderstanding that they don't, in California, they don't receive medical benefits. Like, they receive free health care. It's the largest expenditure the state has. And yet we're starting to see the lies unravel right in front of our faces. It's right on the government websites right there. It's like, it's great. And then what is it? The spider says, TDS survivor here. Yeah, at one point in time, if you really believed all the government lies, or the media lies, including what you see on Google, you would think Trump is this evil, angry person. But it's like, no, he just wanted to look into what was USAID. Why were we funding terrible people overseas? Why are we funding literal terrorism from Minneapolis, Minnesota, to go back to a country that's committing acts of completing acts of terror? We were funding that, but somehow the media wants you to think you're evil for trying to uncover this.
There are multiple welfare programs.
This is one of the first things we did when I walked in the day one of USDA, February 13th, is we sent letters to every governor in America.
Communism.
Being very clear that no illegal aliens can use SNAP. 0, 0, 0. We asked.
And why would they be angry if that was the new rule? 0, 0, 0. None of them should get it because they keep on preaching they've never received it. And whenever they're on television, they say they never received it. So if the Republicans are just confirming that, why is that an issue unless they were lying?
Every state, for the first time in history, and this was in February, to send us their data and let us, with Doge and a war room, actually start going through this data to better understand how this explosion of SNAP benefits happened under Joe Biden. We increased almost 40% on this program in just a couple of years under the Biden administration. Of course, we know
it was really bad. But the thing is, though, so Americans found out, like, first they were buying the tears and saying, oh my God, he's so bad. And then they see this and like, okay, look, they're treating them with respect, saying, here's $1,000. Then realizing they're receiving better benefits than American citizens. And now, from the New York Times openly saying, Joe Biden allowed many of them into the country temporarily. Again, temporarily, just losing them letting them traffic kids, not knowing where they go, allowing them in temporarily as a way to incentivize them to avoiding crossing the border illegally. Yeah, imagine if a store was like, you know what, people are illegally stealing our soda. Like, we just can't stay in business. So to incentivize people from not stealing our sodas, and this is a terrible analogy, I know, we're gonna let you take it temporarily. Like, this makes no sense. He's like, no, they made it legal. They're not saying, oh, he made a way to temporarily incentivize them to not commit the crime. It's like, no, he just made it legal. And he said those people became eligible to work in the U.S., receive Social Security numbers, and in some case, receive federal benefits. Like, openly admitting, receiving federal benefits. The lie that they keep on trying to tell you that they received that, it's in front of their faces. And also the idea that they were getting Social Security numbers. So basically, if they wanted to, they could register to vote. It would be a felony, I believe, but they could. But in most of the states don't have a system to detect if they register, if they're ineligible to vote. This is a massive issue. And remember, when Elon Musk took over Doge, he quickly discovered the insanity that is Social Security numbers aren't exclusive to individuals. Like, Decoy Voice's Social Security number is 1. You also can have the Social Security as 1 if you're Asabi, because we have different names and addresses. This is alarming because if there's no system to catch invalid voters in certain states, this invalidates the entire system. This had to be fixed. But again, they think you're a terrible person if you expose this. So they kept on saying it was never a part of the system. They could never receive these benefits, and now they're angry that they're removing it.
Her assessment, do you agree?
I understand the frustration, but I actually think we're going to be able to work through this. One example that is originally the not allowing SNAP benefits to illegal immigrants was bounced, and now that's back in. So I'm pretty confident we're going to work through these and get the savings that we want, make sure illegal immigrants aren't getting their taxpayer benefits, and ultimately still delivering on all the things for American families. I'm still hopeful.
Last month, you told a local outlet, MissouriNet, that you did not think cuts to Social Security, Medicare.
Yeah, so CNN exposing their audience to it, and now you're seeing this chart from, what is this, the Center for Immigration Studies.org, saying families receiving welfare. So this is their study. U.S.-born family households, 39%. Legal, over half. Illegal, almost 60%. The numbers aren't quite matching up with what Google wants to let you know. Because remember, they said 0. They said 0 never happens. Trump can't cut it if it doesn't exist. Well, obviously it does. Like, I'm almost laughing right here, but I shouldn't, because this is atrocious. But here's the thing. American citizens used to fall for stuff like this. Oh my God, look how sad it is. What did they tell the guy? What will you tell your, what will you say when you were enforcing border laws? And now Americans are leaning into this because they're sick of the idea of Americans being second, third, or even 8th at this point in time. But they're also upset with stuff like this. You see this, somebody here on a U.S. student visa studying at University of Pennsylvania, saying globalize the infantata. Like, this doesn't seem like a net positive to the country. This doesn't seem like somebody that wants to contribute. Why are we paying to subsidize this? Because isn't University of Penn a public school? Actually, let's see. It's a private university, I'm sorry. But I don't think that we should be allowing this person in the country. I think this person should be sent back if they seem to dislike the country so much, wearing all this, waving this flag, disturbing the peace. You can peacefully protest. You can have your voice be heard. You have the First Amendment right if you're an American citizen. I think in places like Japan and especially China, American citizens can't go over there and protest their immigration rules. Like, they'll get kicked out. If you are all Palestinians, then I encourage you guys to go there. And I mean that sincerely, not even to be snarky. But here's the issue right now. Americans are sick of this. Like, this, I want to know your thoughts on it, because apparently he's wearing a pretend device. He's wearing a pretend device on his chest. But he's protesting. He's got wires on it. And this was the Free Palestinian Political Prisoners. It's a recent protest. Not this month, but it's somewhat recent. But you see this guy, very angry, wrapped in the flag with that vest on it. I understand he's trying to make a point, but honestly, this is terrifying to me. Like, in my opinion, and let me know yours in chat, what would happen to a NYPD copper if he saw this guy from far away? Maybe not necessarily. Actually, in this exact context, You have this man wrapped in this flag with this vest wrapped around his chest. You don't know what it is. You see him yelling, you see him charging, he's got these wires. What would happen if the NYPD copper, like, drew and ended him? You don't want someone protesting peacefully, apparently, to be ended like that, but honestly, like, as a cop, like, you don't have time to verify, hey, is this genuinely real? Like, this would be very concerning. It's like, and why would you even wear this in the first place? Like, how does this make your, like, peacefully protesting is supposed to make it so people that don't believe your position can understand it. They can hear the other side. They can have awareness of your cause. In America, especially New York City, the victim of the largest attack, how does this convince anybody? I think Americans at one point in time likely would have been sympathetic to the cause, but not like this. And I'm concerned at the idea of an NYPD copper, especially under the new mayor, finding themselves in the situation where they see this, they make a split-second decision to stop it, and then that copper goes to prison for the rest of their life because this was just a prop. Yeah, it is scary. And that's the thing. It's like, yeah, Mamdani defunding NYPD and replacing them with mental health workers because he lives in a dream world. He doesn't know what it actually takes to run the city. So people are upset over this happening in Brooklyn, New York. This is in their streets. Again, in the countries that are predominantly this religion, they do not do this. They don't do this in the streets. They do it in their mosque. Like, they don't go on top of taxi cabs. If you saw my video on the channel, they don't go on taxi cabs to do this. Like, this is just a show of force. Americans are sick of this, and they're willing to accept this because they don't want their country to turn into this. At worst, the guy with the fake vest, or this right now. Because you see this over here. This is the UK. This is also the clip where the liberal protester said, "Hey, we're on the same side," and he says, "No, we're not." No need for that. We're on the same side, bro. And the guy says, "No, we're not." This is what the country's turning into very quickly. But you have someone like Piers Morgan. Some people I know actually thought Piers Morgan was a conservative because he has the audacity to push back a little bit. Like, that's the only inkling of conservatism you need to just call it the obvious. But here he is saying he's okay with his entire country changing identity.
Why do you look at this and see a wrecked country? I don't.
Well, I don't see an English country. So we're in the city of London now.
What do you mean there? What do you mean by that?
It's not. Well, people whose ancestors built Stonehenge are not here anymore. So the city of London is 36% white, and that's happened in the last, 40 years.
But England is about 70% white.
England.
Yes.
Okay.
Now,
well, it was 99% in 1945.
Okay, so we've evolved.
But you're on the way.
Evolved. Don't know if that's the word he wants to use here, but he's perfectly fine with this.
To becoming the minority in the country.
So what? I love living in a very multicultural
But you're rich. I mean,
exactly. All these liberals living on top, looking down, and I honestly feel the same way. Where it's like I was able to move out the hood. Essentially, I was able to come out of it. It'd be easy for me to sit here and say, you know what, guys? Like, of course you need, to stop recidivism. Of course you need to let people out of jail and never serve time if they commit crimes. Because when I walk outside my doors, I don't see the abject poverty. I don't see the crime rates. I'm not worried my car's being broken into every time I park it on the street. Rich people never see the issues. They just see of the people that have to live amongst the victims of the policies you simp for on television.
Rich, and you go to the white parts of London, they're exactly the same as they were when I was a child. I've been coming here for 50 years. They're exactly the same.
Why do you look at this and see a wrecked country?
And then here's the thing. So he later on, someone was calling him out saying, they replaced you and your home change forever because you talked about, like, I would rather have, at least I have yummy food. And then Piers Morgan actually replies to him, says, there's a lot of white English people I would happily trade for a good weekly chicken tikka masala. And the replies he's getting everywhere are, you already traded a couple white English people, because the faces of the individuals, or the kids that passed away in attacks from the diversity he was so clamoring for, because he wants a weekly chicken tikka masala. It's atrocious. And the idea that you see this post is unavailable, I think it's because he blocked her for this reply, but I can still see the post. So this is genuinely the tikka masala post of that they were replying to. atrocious, but facts. It's sad because you see this over here, like in Germany, outside the Christmas parades, and you see this a lot. Oops, where they had to put barriers so people can't drive through the Christmas parades, ending everybody that goes there. This is not the only country that currently has this, and this is the sad reality where even I've told this story a million times before, but a long time ago, I used to work a job and I hired guys in security. And they'd be, like 18 to 25 years old. It's a good starter job while they're going to college. And I remember I hired this one young guy. He was from, I always try to like protect his identity, but whatever. He's from Afghanistan. He sought asylum in Germany. And then he said, I had to leave Germany because he was Muslim. And he said, Germany was becoming too Muslim for him. And he's like, yeah, he came from Afghanistan, fled because he didn't like it there, gets to Germany, it becomes too much like the country he fled, then he comes to America to flee that. The same way that I would say I don't think the Chinese government's good, I wouldn't criticize Chinese people for trying to flee China to flee the Communist Party. They want to become Americans. They want capitalism. Same way that guy wanted to escape the the religious values back in his home country, tried to seek asylum in Europe, found out it became the same exact thing, and fled again. So Piers Morgan just says, you know what, I want chicken tikka masala, or is that what he said? Yeah, weekly chicken tikka masala. He doesn't care what they sacrifice because he doesn't believe that, he doesn't worry that he's going to be the individual at this Christmas parade getting run over. Very, very sad to think about it, but here's the thing. They try to paint you for wanting this as some evil anti-immigrant person, but you see stuff like this over in Japan, where you have left-wing protests in Tokyo waving the same flag of individuals that are not welcome in any other countries that share their same religion. They're blocked. The left wing still exists over there. They want to open mosques. They want, I think, more burial sites over there because there's so many of them. But you see this over here. It's not anti-immigrant. It's always anti-assimilation. Like you see this guy talking about why he protests. He's a white guy, and he joined the anti-immigration protests in Shinjuku. Okay, so he's speaking perfect Japanese, but he's saying, Japanese people are by no means the type of people who hate or discriminate as long as you learn Japanese. Exactly. I think everybody here in this chat could be a MAGA conservative and never at one point in time said, you know what? I like Decoy. I like the words he says, but he's a Chinaman, so we can't allow him in the country. Like, you would trade 1 million decoys. Actually, not 1 million decoys. You would trade 100 decoys for sending away 1 million of these Antifa types that just want wide open borders. You're not anti-immigrant. You're anti-someone that wants to come in here and change the country. They want to make it so you don't feel safe there, and obviously they can shove their religion down your throat. You're anti that. And here this guy's saying, hey, Japan isn't anti-immigrant. They just want you to enjoy Japanese values if you're coming to Japan. So I respect in Japanese culture. Everybody's incredibly kind. We're gathered here today because we simply love Japanese culture in Japan. That's all that they want. And I think that what's shocking about the MAGA movement is just they want America to be good no matter what, because America can be a melting pot if everybody's assimilating to the values that you came here for. Not, I'm fleeing something I don't like, let me bring that thing over here, over there, over here, because I know how to run your country better somehow. Yeah, and that's the thing, is like, some people would be like that. They don't, they're going to be anti-immigrant no matter what, but I would say that there's plenty of Americans that aren't immigrants that you don't agree with, that that they are systematically trying to dismantle the country and get rid of American values and is wide open you want to get rid of them. The people that are just leeches on society, career criminals. It doesn't matter if they were born in the country. They're a net negative to everybody. You don't want them around. If you can have the best and the brightest engineer from South Korea, a top tier surgeon from Nigeria, because we have a lot of Nigerian surgeons in this country. You have them come in here, embrace American values, and contribute. We want that. That's what makes the country great. You would trade 100 decoys for a weekly General Tso chicken. I mean, I don't think that I can be used as a form of currency. A little bit scary. It's just all about assimilation. Assimilation.